out of the gate this one. I'm having a good week. I'm feeling happy.
That's Tori.
This is Tori. That's Chanel. And we're so glad you're here for the Glad We Talk podcast. Chanel, how are you doing this week? I feel like you have a lot going on because I'm looking at the notes and there's a lot of things I don't know.
No, okay.
I feel like you've been keeping secrets from me.
No secrets. I promise. No secrets. Never secrets. I had an experience walking over here because you live in Hoboken.
Yes.
It's a St. Paddy's Day bar crawl here.
New York City and Hoboken, crazy for St. Patrick's Day. It was going on last weekend.
Yeah, and yesterday was actual St. Paddy's Day, so I didn't expect this. I thought it would have been over. So I'm walking from the path. It's like a bunch of 21 to 26-year-olds just like out there living their life. Mm-hmm. And it's just so funny because I have my backpack with like all the podcast equipment and my back is hurting me and I'm walking through Hoboken and everyone is just drunk and the bars are spilling out and everyone's with like makeup and like crop tops and I'm literally walking through Hoboken with my backpack and my mom jeans and my little white sneakers. And I was like, why is this so embarrassing right now? Like, it was embarrassing for no reason. I don't know. Like, when you're just like...
You felt like a nerd?
I felt like a nerd, and I felt like so much older for some reason. Like, everyone looked like such a little baby.
I hate walking. If I say I go out to dinner in the city and I take the path home, for people that aren't familiar, Hoboken, the path is the train into Hoboken from the city, and it lets you off at all of these bars where a lot of college kids and young professionals go out. Babies. And I hate walking by it because it really reminds me of how old I am.
I felt like such a ssenior. And I put my
Can I get the early bird special?
I literally put my sunglasses on. I was like, maybe no one will see me. I put my sunglasses on. I was literally so embarrassed for no reason. Like, I think it's because like power in numbers. Everyone was like groups of 10, 5s, 8s, like drunk, eating pizza. They looked like they were having a great time, and I'm just here with my backpack, just trying.
I love the fact that you're noticing this, and they probably don't even remember anything.
No, 100%. No one was paying attention to me, but I'm here listening to music as if I'm the main character in a movie. So obviously, I think everyone's looking at me. It was just so embarrassing.
Oh my God. I love that so much because I feel it a lot. But St. Patrick's Day especially, I saw them. I went to Target. I had a moment too.
Yeah.
Where I saw this girl with little shamrocks on her head and they were in green.
And her makeup's all cute and she's in a little crop top.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm on my way to Target to pick up some new bins and cleaning supplies.
Like nothing feels more adult.
I know.
Than
And I got a Starbucks in the Target and I was like, wow.
Life is good.
Exactly. It's funny because we had some St. Patrick's Day together.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was one St. Patrick's Day, which we don't even have to get into. It's a story from another time. But yeah.
That's on the breakup episode.
Breakup. It kind of, what sucks? Getting broken up with on a holiday. We'll get into it later, but I think about it.
You're like, we'll get into it later, but I'm just going to say this.
Every St. Patrick's Day, I'm like, why'd you have to ruin that holiday for me?
I know, it's so true.
But it's a funny story.
Yeah.
You and I look back on and laugh.
At least we can laugh now.
Yeah. And the other thing about Hoboken is that they had signs that said, no leprechauns here, or watch out for leprechauns. Like the traffic signs where they have like announcements.
Hoboken really leans into the young culture here.
What's the thing from Mean Girls? I'm a cool mom. Oh,
I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
Yeah, but the other one, it's like, you girls keep me young.
Yeah, that's Hoboken.
What I think. Whenever I walk by those bars, I'm like,
you girls keep me young. So I thought that was funny.
Okay.
Also, I was watching Summer House this week. Do you watch Summer House?
No, I don't watch any of these shows, but I like when you tell me about them.
Okay, good. So it's a reality show about a bunch of 20, 30-somethings and a 40-year-old man who rent a house in the summer in the Hamptons. And it's about like 8 of them.
What channel is this on?
Bravo.
And is it anyone from like Real
Paige
Housewives?
DeSorbo? No.
Okay.
You know Paige DeSorbo?
No.
Okay. Anyway, it's great people. You should really watch it one day there's like 8 seasons or something.
Okay.
But in one of the situations, there's a new girl in the house. Mm-hmm. All of these people in the house have been friends. Like they've all filmed with each other before.
Who are they? Are they just socialites?
Well, they started on the show and that's how they became like influencers. So like season 1, you didn't know anybody.
They're randos.
Thank
you.
So season 1, they were randos. And now that it's been on for 8 seasons, we all know who they are if we watch the show.
Got it.
So this girl comes into the house. She's new. And she's someone who talks a lot. So they keep doing these like little montages of her talking, and it's like her talk. You know when they do like
they fade it out.
They like fade it out, and it's like it seems like it's going on forever. So they kept doing this thing of her speaking a lot, and so you know her as the girl who talks a lot. And in one of the scenes, one of the girls from the house brings her aside into the bathroom and tells her she talks too much. She was like, "I just want to let you know you talk too much," and the girl got like emotional, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I know what you mean, like I'm too much for some people."
Was she saying it, was this other girl saying it in a friendly way or kind of like a...
She's not a mean person, the girl who said it. She's actually one of the nicer ones on the show. I think everyone was just talking about it behind her back, and she kind of wanted to tell her. But I also thought it was kind of weird that she told her she talks too much. I've encountered a lot of people. I mean, I talk too much sometimes, but I've encountered other people in my life who talk too much. And I don't know if I would ever bring them aside and say that. Because then I think she like kind of immediately regretted it. And she was like, no, but like that's your personality. Why did I ever say that?
Were they drinking?
They were drinking, yeah.
Okay. People say things, inner thoughts that probably shouldn't be said out loud. And they have that confidence, I think, sometimes to say things and think they're being helpful.
Yeah.
And then I've just noticed that with drinking. Sometimes
That's true.
I mean, how many times have you said, that came out wrong?
Yes. Do you think you would have said something though?
I wanted to say something. I'm not going to lie. When you started telling the story, there are people that came to mind and I was like, I wish I could tell them, you know, but...
Am I one of those people?
Okay, so Chanel, I'm just kidding. No. I think that's why we're friends too. It's like, you know when to stop. But I'm kidding. I just don't have the patience, you know, but that's okay. If some people love to talk and they love when other people talk, and it just depends on your chemistry.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really good point because we are talking about friendship today. I think because of this house situation, maybe they wouldn't be friends in real life, and it makes you want to deal with things in a different, like, think about college. You weren't friends with everyone.
Right.
But maybe you were living with someone. I don't know.
You had to make it work.
Yeah.
So it's like, how am I going to make this as easy and seamless as possible?
And maybe she thought they're friends, but maybe not really. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have said anything.
I wouldn't have either. So I thought it was really interesting that she pulled her aside.
Unless we were really close friends and I really liked her. But I naturally wouldn't gravitate towards someone that talks a lot.
Yeah. I think the issue was that like she was talking a lot about herself.
Yeah. I have a friend that I've been talking to recently, and she's developed this new friendship because of out of proximity. They're close, and they've been hanging out a few times, and they've done a few double dates and seeing each other, and they're testing out to see if they're compatible. But my friend's realizing that this woman only talks about herself and her career and how successful she is and like all of these things. And they don't really ask questions back, which I can't stand.
Yeah.
And my friend can't stand because it's at that point, it's not a conversation. And you leave saying like, what just happened? Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, I feel glad we talked. It's like,
I'm not glad we
talked. Yeah, exactly. Well, they talked at me for however long. That's the thing that bothers me.
And it feels one-sided. It feels like they enjoy hanging out with you because
they can talk about
themselves the whole time. But that's not fair.
No. So would you have said anything?
I don't think so.
You're too nice.
I think it's weird though, because we have this podcast and we listen back to ourselves and we have to naturally talk about ourselves. So when I listen back, I'm like, oh, why am I talking so much? Like, why am I talking about myself so much? But I think it's the nature of our podcast. We have to, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have to talk, period, because otherwise there would be no podcast.
Podcast. But I think for people who can't listen to themselves, they might not even know that they're doing it.
That's a good point.
And so it's like you maybe want to tell them because maybe they don't know that they're doing it at all. But then it's like you don't want to like make them feel uncomfortable.
It's a funny concept because we are listening back. But I think that you're right. Most people aren't aware of how they sound or what they're saying. And it's definitely made me a better listener too. And I think this has improved my communication skills in a lot of ways. I'm learning that I slur my words sometimes. I don't know what that's about. I have a speech impediment, apparently.
You do not have a speech impediment.
Would you tell me if I did?
No. I just wouldn't say anything. But you don't want to like knock someone's personality either. Like if that's who they are, if this girl just enjoys talking, you don't want to knock that either. So it's like a fine line almost. So those are my things and observations for the week.
I like those. Those are good.
Thanks. How about you? What's going on?
I've been having a good week. The weather's great. I'm just feeling happy. Spring's around the corner and things are looking up now that we've sprung forward in the clocks and everything. So things are good. A little bit of a downside is, so my friend, after we did the Mara episode, she has very sensitive skin. And I didn't know that. And she was like, hey, just letting you know, this did make me break out. I bought it to test it. I'm still going to try it. But she said that it didn't work for her, some of the Merit brands. And she introduced me to this Yuka app, which tells you what is in, like, the ingredients in food and makeup and certain products. And it blew my mind because you can simply download this app, scan a barcode, and all of a sudden your, like, beauty product has a kind of recipe or an ingredient list, and it tells you if it's bad, good, or whatever, and it has like a score out of 100. Merit wasn't that great, but I'm sure no one's paying for it, so it's like just a consumer review, and like I don't know what it is honestly, but it tells you how good or bad it is.
Yeah, I found out about this app at work actually.
And what do they think in the beauty industry?
We were all just doing it at work. Like we downloaded the app and we just did it like on a bunch of beauty products we had at our desk, and we were just like scanning everything. Yeah. But it is interesting. Like it gives you a score. It tells you the ingredients in it. You know if it's bad. It even says like bad, fair, good, poor, whatever.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think it's a cool app, but it's also like scary to scan stuff.
I know. And it's some of them is like petroleum has a small trace of potentially causing cancer or something.
Did you scan your food?
I've done a few of them. Newman's Own salsa. I did it and I showed my brother, or I went over to his apartment and we had dinner. He started bringing me all these things. He's like, do this, do that, do this.
It's addicting.
Yeah, it is. So he took the Newman's Own and he was like, scan this. And it was great. He was like, I knew it was going to be good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah. Newman's Own salsa is really good.
Okay.
I did it when I was shopping at Target today, and it definitely took me a lot longer to shop because I was curious on a few different moisturizers. I read that one of the ones I did like does animal testing.
Oh no.
I didn't know that. And it's a really popular brand that a lot of people and doctors recommend. But
that's really upsetting.
I know. So I was looking for a new moisturizer and it came up with I don't know how to say it.
La Roche-Posay.
Bing, 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 bing. So I bought that instead of this other one that was rated really poorly. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll let you guys know.
Oh, La Roche-Posay has amazing reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what it said.
Yeah.
So it's my first time trying any of their products.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited too. It's an interesting app. So Haley girl, thank you for recommending it and letting me know. It's cool.
It's funny that you said you were in Target scanning things because I looked at your location like an hour after you told me you were going to Target, and I was like, why is she still at Target? And then I texted you, I'm like, I'm ready.
And I was like, come later.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not home yet.
Mid-scan.
Yeah. Scanning everything in Target.
It was interesting. Maybe it's making me more of a conscious shopper.
Yeah.
Now, if I do it at Trader Joe's, I might be upset. I can't do it there.
That's too upsetting.
Yeah. Like I don't mind if it's mainstream stuff, but I'm going to make a rule. Don't do it at Trader Joe's.
Any Trader Joe's branded, not allowed.
Yeah.
We're just going to say it's all good.
It's all good. It's Trader Joe's. You wouldn't do you wrong.
Yeah. It's organic.
Yeah. It's
organic chocolate covered pretzels. It's good for you.
Anyway, so that was one Yuka app. And then I really enjoyed going on a dinner date with new friends this week with you.
I know. It was so fun.
It was so fun. I was very nervous going into it. Maybe not very nervous. I had you going, and then I had a mutual friend that I went to college with, and you and I have hung out with her, Julianne. Hey, Julianne. A lot.
We love Julianne.
We do. She's a huge fan of the podcast.
Yes.
Great hype girl. And she invited some of her friends that we all went to college together with, but I didn't spend time with them. And as we know, I'm very shy and introverted unless I know someone. So I was like, okay, at least I have Chanel and Julianne and I feel safe.
Yeah. And you sat like catty corner to both of us.
I did. It was perfect. I felt like, okay, mom and dad are on my side in case anything goes wrong.
I think it was a good dinner, and I think I felt the same as you. I mean, I'm extroverted, but it was still a little bit like there's 3 girls that we're going to go sit down and have dinner with. It's still a little bit nerve-wracking because you don't know who they are. And as wonderful as Julianne is, you just never know. Right. So I think just going into it, you're kind of like, what are they going to be like? Are they going to like me? Am I going to talk too much? Are we going to get along? Are we going to have things to talk about? Is it going to be awkward? Just all these questions that are like running through your head. And then, we all sat down and they were just so lovely. And I think what really helped is like how warm and inviting, accepting and inviting they were.
Yeah, when we got there, it was a little awkward. Luckily, you and I came in together. We met and walked over and made our entrance. And I was like, okay, we got this. And it was interesting because usually when we hang out in a group setting, either it's people that you know, and then they become like acquaintances or like casual friends with me, or you hang out with my friends and or family, and they're, you know, they know you. But this was really the first time where we were meeting new people together and seeing if we could be friends with them.
Yeah. And I think making new friends as an adult is just weird in general.
Ugh, like making friends forever has just been not my thing.
But it's like a little bit unnatural because it's kind of like when you're in college, you're like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be making friends and like having this experience. And then as you get older, you're kind of like, shouldn't I already have friends? Shouldn't I already have my friend group established? Like, how am I making friends? Are people going to think that I'm weird, that I'm trying to talk to them? And like, they're like, who's this stranger? So I think it's just like a little weird. You're a little in your head about it.
I'm always in my head about making new friends, but you're exactly right. Because as we get older, I think we think that we have a set group of friends. We have our friends we grew up with. We have our friends from high school. We have friends from college, maybe. And then you might have a few new work friends like you and I are, but then you get to a point and you're kind of like, am I done making friends? Or
yeah, can I still make friends? But you could never be done, you know?
Yeah. And I think that was what I learned from this dinner too, is that I met a new group of girls. And while I was like nervous, there really wasn't a reason to be, because they were so kind and we found common interests. So Julianne was a common interest, but then we were able to talk and learn more. And we found out one of the girls actually has a podcast.
Yeah. And you were just all gung-ho about that. You were like asking her business questions across the table. I was dying.
So her podcast is called Sky Talkers, and it's about Star Wars. And I just found it so interesting. And she grew it by herself with her best friend, and they did it, and they're doing amazing things. And it just had me feeling so inspired.
No, agreed.
And we learned so much.
Yeah, she was great to talk to.
I know. And I love how she was talking about TikTok, and we were like, oh yeah, this is a TikTok. And she's like, oh my God, it's so good. And I was like, yeah, video content. You got to do video content. And then I go to her TikTok and it's like 35,000 followers. I'm like, foot, mouth.
That was actually very funny. She was like so sweet and humble about it. I loved it. But I still want to listen to her podcast. Yeah. I don't watch Star Wars.
Me either.
But I now met her and I want to listen to it and support it.
I felt like they were very supportive. And we know from our episode last week and a few other ones how important support is. And I think that was the key takeaway, was these girls, while they didn't know us, they were excited to meet us. They were excited about what we did and excited for this podcast. We were excited for them. And we just genuinely wanted to talk to each other and just like have a good time.
Yeah. Making new friends can be so easy when everyone's so nice and asking questions with each other and just involved and actively engaged.
That's true.
But yeah, it can be scary. I don't know. How have you made new friends besides this dinner, obviously, that we went to?
Making friends isn't easy for me because I'm naturally introverted. So I need to find a common ground and commonalities that I know I can talk to them about. So I'm not one that will go to a party and leave with a new best friend. Mm-hmm. I'm more of someone that knows that we have a common interest. So I've been able to make friends at the dog park because we have dogs. And it's kind of like that to say, oh, you got a dog? I got a dog. And then you start talking to them and you get to know them. And then I actually have a great couple that Mitch and I go out with here in Hoboken that we met at the dog park, and we became
that's
friends
cute.
with them. Yeah. And then I think work friends too.
Yes. Work is a big one.
Yeah. And I've become friends with my apartment people. I need common space.
That's fair. I think work is a huge one, especially because you're literally working together on so many different projects. You're collaborating, you're on the same team.
Yeah.
Naturally, conversation just happens and you start to be like, oh, I like this person as like a person and not just as a colleague. So I think work is a great place.
Especially when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Because you're going out.
You're going into happy hours. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it gets a little bit harder as you get older. Maybe. But if you meet good people that you work with, it can last a while.
Yeah. And then with the dog park, I've also had a friend who said that they've met friends at the dog park, which is like such a natural way. Because I think like, oh, your dog's cute. Oh, and then where do you live? And she had recently moved to like a new city and she was looking to make friends and she made a lot of friends at the dog park. So, or just like walking her dog in general. So I think like that's such a good way. I mean, if you don't have a dog, it's hard.
After Target, I got caught up in a conversation with a neighbor. And he was like, oh, we should do a block party and stuff. It was just
cute.
nice. Yeah, you're like, that's also why you were late.
No, you weren't late. It was just funny how long you were at Target. I was like, what's she getting?
I got a lot of stuff. Mitch was away, so I was able to just throw everything in the cart.
Nice.
But how do you make friends? How have you made friends, and how do you continue to make friends? Because you are a very friendly person.
I think a lot has been either through mutual friends, kind of like a situation where with how we were with our mutual friend, and then we met those girls. A lot of like bachelorettes and stuff. I've been in a few weddings of really close friends, and through that I've met other girls in the weddings and become close with them as well, whether it's the bachelorette or just being the bridal party in general.
Yeah, they could make a movie about you and Bridesmaids.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you definitely beat out Katherine Heigl. You're like, I don't know how many Bridesmaids and
I don't think I've been in that many as you would think, but I've been to a lot of weddings in general. And then another way I've met friends is in a workout class. I met one of my best friends at a 305 workout class, and we've met a few years ago, and we've just built like such a good relationship since then. She came up to me and was just like, you were really good in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, thanks, you too. And
of course,
she was like, where do you live? And then we ended up living like 3 blocks away from each other, and we just walked home together. And since that day, we were just like super close.
She asked you to be her bridesmaid right after that class. I'm just saying, your maid of honor.
No. So I think those are like 2 of the main ways. I've heard some success stories about Bumble BFF. Have you ever tried it?
I haven't tried it, but when my friend just moved to London, she didn't have any friends there. So she did use it, and she went on a few Bumble BFF dates to meet new girlfriends, but I don't know how it really worked out. I know she went on a few of them. I haven't tried it personally. Have you?
I have not.
I just saw Mitch on Bumble, but
exactly. I don't think I would do it unless I move to a new city. I don't think you need to move to a new city to find friends, but in a situation where you do move to a new city, I think something like that app can help.
Yeah, for sure. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't need new friends, but moving or doing something like that, or my parents just recently moved and they've established a new friend group down there, and it's nice. So you kind of, it doesn't matter what age you are. You might need to find new friends if you're in a new location or a new job or new stage of life.
Yeah, I think no matter your life stage, you can make new friends. Your friendships ebb and flow, and you can be like 35 and maybe you're single and like all of your friends are married and have babies, and you're not looking for that, and you want to find new friends to do something with. There's so many different life stages that you can find yourself in where you would need to make new friends. Or like your parents, you're empty nesters, or you move to a new little city even an hour away and you want someone a little bit more local.
Yeah.
Whatever the circumstances, there are so many reasons. So I think it applies to everybody.
What types of friendships do you think exist?
Well, I think you have like...
How many friends would you say are close friends, and how many are like acquaintances? Like what level of friendship do you have, since you say everyone's your best friend?
I don't say everyone's my best friend. I have like...
Rhodey is your best friend. Like the cat that you're allergic to is your best friend. I don't know.
That's where I draw the line. Rhodey's over here like...
I know. He's like, best friend.
I would say I have 8 close friends people I would go to with a problem. I think beyond the 8, I have, I don't know, more than like 10 friends I go to dinner with, I hang out with, but maybe I wouldn't necessarily like confide in them about something or tell them if I'm going through an issue or something like that. And then I just have acquaintances that I see sometimes. Maybe we text here, we DM on Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny when you think about the different levels of friendship, because I'm just curious. I researched.
Wait, what about you? What do you think about your friendships?
I think I don't have as many friends. I keep a tight net, a closed loop.
A small
circle, if you will. So I did a little bit of research on this, and I found an article from my favorite resource, Psychology Today. We all know I love looking things up there. And it just broke down friendships into things that we all know, where you have acquaintances, close friends, casual friends, intimate friends. So those are like the 4 categories it broke it into. I think obviously we all have a lot of acquaintances. I have some casual friends. When it comes to close friends, I have a close group. I think I would say maybe 5 or 6 close friends, and then casual friends, peripheral friends. Intimate friends, I guess they define that as like really close. So maybe you'd be like a really close friend. Mm-hmm. I think I can count like 5. I don't know. The lines are blurred.
Close and intimate feel kind of similar to me.
Yeah.
Like close and intimate are kind of like your best friends, I would say. Like people that you feel comfortable.
So you're 20.
Keeping close.
Just kidding. Yeah.
I said I have 8.
Intimate I think is like you really trust in them. Like you would trust your life with them maybe. I'm so selective, and I think it's just because I am more introverted. I'm afraid to put myself out there sometimes, and I mentioned earlier, I don't have the patience for some people. So
yeah,
for that reason, I have a tight knit. But from this article, it says research suggests that the number of close friends we need to feel that we have enough is somewhere between 3 and 5.
Oh.
And not only that, but adults with 4 or 5 friends enjoy the highest levels of satisfaction, and those with 3 close friends are not far behind. And if you have one who you consider your best friend, the satisfaction you enjoy in life is significantly higher than those who don't. So bear in mind that being there for others and holding a valued friendship place in another's life can absolutely positively influence your own level of well-being. So
I think it's kind of what we were saying with Tanya, like you said earlier. Having support in your life is just really important. And as much as you're introverted and people are introverted and they like to, not speak to a lot of new humans and they like their alone time and all that stuff, I still think it's important to meet new people, have a circle that you go to with things. It's good to have someone to go to talk about things, to vent. Yes, it's great to have a therapist, but it's also nice to have someone you can just text with something that's like on your mind. You don't always want to sit down and have like a full therapy session on like a small inconvenience. Yeah. And sometimes you just are looking for like advice on something small or big or whatever it is. And it's good to have someone to go to be like, what do you think about this?
Yeah. My friends always joke that I will ask them all for advice and they do the complete opposite of what they tell me to do.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but you do make a good point, and you have a variety of friends for different reasons too, and that's maybe why you have a lot of friends too, because you get something different from each one. I know I do, and some friends, yeah, you're going to go to them with more serious issues. You and I talked earlier this week, we were going through something and we just wanted to talk about it, and we feel better that we talked.
Can't help yourself.
I can't. We were so glad we talked after. But then you have other friends and maybe it's a lighter thing and you're thinking, oh, we're going to go out to dinner, and kind of how we did earlier in the week, Not to say there isn't value in that type of friendship, and we're there for each other during different times, but each friendship offers something different. And I think that's also important when you start to get older and realize that it's not about the quantity of friends. And I'm just teasing you. I think it's great that you have a lot of friends. It's because you're such a great person and you love that part of life, the social butterfly. So it's great for you to have these friends.
You're like, great for you.
Great for you.
Love that for you.
I don't have the energy to have more people in my life. I like the number I'm at.
No, that's fair.
And I will make new friends, but I'm selective.
Yes.
That loop only opens once in a while.
I get it. I'm lucky to be in that loop.
But I think it's about the quality of friendships. And if you're getting something out of those friendships, that's great. If you're not, and it's just about, oh, I have so many friends, maybe you don't need that many.
I honestly surprisingly agree with you.
Wow.
I do agree, but who's to say what that quantity is?
Right.
I think the quantity that I do have is not crazy, but all of them I consider very quality friendships. And that's the only reason I have such a hard time being like, they're not my best friend. Because like I agree with you. Like I think there is a reason I'm friends with each person. And I think everyone brings a different type of something to my life, and that's like why I value those friendships so much. I think a lot too, like in your 20s, which I dealt with a lot. I don't know if you did, but like you have those party friends that you go out with, or like single friends when you're single.
My party friend.
Well, I'm glad we evolved. Yeah. But they're friends that I would like go out with on the weekend, and I did not really speak to them during the week, or if I had like an actual issue or problem, I wouldn't really go to them. Like
they were your fun friends.
They were my fun friends, and it was very surface level.
What's that episode of Modern Family when Mitch and Cam go out with, I can't remember the actress's name, but I think they call her Sam in the episode.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, and they go out to like a bar or dinner or something, and they're like, oh my god, she's our fun friend, we need to go out and have fun, and they're like doing tequila shots and whatever, and they're slowly recognizing like, oh my god, she's crazy.
Yeah, and she's not a good friend.
Yeah, it was when they adopted the baby and they became parents, and she was just like the baby. Wow.
She was like bad mouthing their baby.
Yeah. And they would talk about like getting together and they're like, oh, but the baby.
But really she was like jealous that they had the baby now. And she was like, I'm supposed to be the number one girl in your life.
Yeah. But, you know, friendships change over time. And I was just thinking of that episode because, you know, they realized, oh, this is a party girl, but both of them had changed. And anyways.
Yeah, it's like that quote from Bridesmaids, when you're changing, you're growing.
Yeah. And we want to do a whole episode on friendship breakups. So that's a different topic. But I think it is normal for friendships to casually fade out and change, like you're saying, and grow or not.
Yeah. I think too, as you get older, you maybe notice some friendships that are really solid and they have like a big friend group or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, have you ever felt kind of intimidated by other friendships, or when you're trying to make new friends, you're like, oh, they probably have enough friends, so like, why would they want to be friends with me? Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And it's funny because it reminds me of when I was in high school. I had one best friend, Melissa, who I did everything with. She's basically my sister, the closest thing I have to a sister. When we went to high school, she started doing cheerleading in the summer. So she made all these friends her freshman year before we even started school. And she was going out with them and everything. And I got upset because I was like, Melissa's going to forget about me. And now she has all these friends. And my mom was like, Tori, are you kidding me? Melissa's never going to outgrow you. You guys are still going to be best friends. And you're going to make new friends too. But I was so nervous because I was intimidated by the new friendship she made, because she was my close friend that I knew was going to this new school. So what happened later was that I was able to make new friends and our friendships merged and we all had similar friends. And it was great, you know, but I think back to that and it taught me a lesson that you don't always have to be intimidated by friend groups. And I still feel it a little bit as adults, but I've never been part of that cliquey nature. So I haven't gravitated towards cliques. And in college, I felt like my college overall was a little bit cliquey. It was harder. And I think that makes it difficult as women to also embrace new people and let them in. And I just think it's better to be able to open it up and give people a chance.
I completely agree. Yeah, you're right. Women can be cliquey sometimes. That's why sometimes it's so intimidating going into a new situation like we did with dinner, because we were like, what is it going to be like? Are they going to be cliquey? Yeah. Are they going to talk to us? So I think that's exactly what it is. It's like people are in their cliques or in their groups and they don't even realize that they're not including other people.
Yeah. I admire you though, because I've seen you in situations where there might be a clique and I've noticed it, but you're able to go in and you are able to break that clique. And
do I?
Yeah, you go in and you're like, hey, I'm Chanel, and they embrace you. Where I'm a little bit intimidated by that because I wish I could do that, and I'm learning a little bit more. And I think when I see your confidence, I know it's not that hard, but it's just like you have to put a little bit more effort behind it. And that's where we were talking earlier and having that common interest.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah. And I think you need to give yourself a little bit of credit. Like you make it sound like you're just like in the corner. I mean, you have done that, but
you're like, now that I'm saying it, yeah.
One time. But you are like social when you're out. Like it's not like you're not warm, you're not inviting. Like you are those things, and you do know how to have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
So give yourself a little bit of credit over here.
But I'm just noting it hasn't always been easy for me. It's something that I've learned, and it wasn't until recently that I think I've been able to do that more and, you know, be more social in that way and not be so worried about what people will think or say. And that's a whole part of growing up too. But I think it's at an interesting point now in our life, in our 30s, where we're like, okay, we had our friends from college, we have our friends from work, we have our friends from growing up, and now we're like, our friendships are changed. Like, it's just, friendships change over time, and it's just interesting to think about.
And one of the more beautiful things I think about, you were saying with Melissa before, of her having her own friend group and then you made your own friend group, is like merging those friend groups. That's the best thing about having so many different people in your life, is like having them meet, like what Julianne did with us. It's like you have all these people that you know would love each other, and it's like, why doesn't everyone meet and everyone becomes friends?
Yeah.
You find so many new people through the people that you already have in your life. That's the best part about meeting someone through mutual friends. Like you already have this mutual person in your life. Expanding it and seeing your worlds collide almost is like the best. I don't have one big group of friends. No. I have small groups of friends, 3 or 4 girls here, 3 or 4 girls here.
Right.
And whenever I have like a birthday or like something where I bring everyone together, my heart is so full. I'm just so happy. And one of my friends, Julia, always says that too. She's like, I love when my worlds collide.
Thinking of Julia.
Yeah.
While you're talking, because that's one of the friends, and Julia was on our podcast. She was the HR guru who we spoke with a few episodes ago. But that's one of the friendships. And actually, when we went on a trip to Atlantic City, I was a little bit nervous because it was the first time you really asked me to go with your friend group.
Oh,
and you and I went, and it was with Julia. And I was nervous, but when I got there, everything was fine. And she was so sweet, and we were able to have a great time, and we danced, and we went to a concert, and it was lovely. So that's now someone that I feel comfortable reaching out to within your network of friends. Mm-hmm. We're not like close friends, but you know, when I see her, I know enough about her life and I can check in with her and have a conversation. And that's nice when you can do that with your friends' friends.
Completely. It's that nice merge of relationships and friendships that just bring everyone together, and you're just like, this is so nice.
Yeah.
And you meet people you normally maybe wouldn't have.
Have you ever felt competitive with someone else's friends?
Kind of.
Really?
And I don't know if competitive is a word.
I'm just because you mentioned Bridesmaids, and you know, like
with Helen and
yeah, I just wonder. Like I think with Melissa I was worried about that, but I haven't really felt that.
I think when we're younger, we definitely feel that. I think when we're in high school and college, we're comparing ourselves to...
Because you felt like you needed one best friend.
Yeah. And you're comparing yourself to like your friends and their how close they are with other people. I think it's easy to feel like you're competing.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you're kind of just like, we're all, like we're saying now, we're all friends. Like, why don't we all be friends?
Right.
Versus like sometimes when you're younger, it's kind of like, well, she's my best friend. You feel kind of territorial a little bit.
That's true.
But I think as you get older, that goes away.
Let's all just be friends.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, do you think besides the ways that we've met, there might be some other ways that people can meet? I mean, I know Julianne mentioned she met someone through like the alumni network at school.
Oh, yeah. One of the girls we were at dinner with, they hadn't known each other. And then she looked it up on our little alumni portal. She reached out to inquire about her job, but Julianne's like, you seem like a nice person. Let's just be friends.
Yeah. And the girl had just moved to a new city too. So I think that was nice.
Which is great. Also, that's great. I would never think to do that.
I know. It was very smart. I think another way could be like volunteering. I volunteered in the past, and I used to volunteer at like a nonprofit theater. I also worked there full time for a little bit, but I made a lot of friends while I was there because it's like this common thing that you're doing, this cause you care about, and you're spending time together, whether it's on a weekend or hours at a time together.
Another good piece of advice you gave to one of the girls at dinner was doing intramural sports.
Oh, yes. I forgot I said that.
Yeah. See, I was listening. If you're in the city, Zog Sports is one of those intramurals where you can play soccer or tag football or
softball like we did.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Volleyball.
Yeah.
I was saying that too for her to meet someone for dating as well. Because I think there's like a lot of singles on the team too. So it's good for making friends or going on dates.
Yeah. You just have to be creative.
Yes.
And think about your interests. Like, right? So we talked about how for me, it's easier to find a friend when I know there's a common interest. So maybe you like dancing, like you're saying, as a workout class, or I don't know. What else do people do?
Garden, sport.
The more you put yourself out there, episode 3, the more that you try to do things for yourself too. And I was reading another article, I can't remember where, but it said you have to be a good friend to yourself in addition to other people. So I think when you're nurturing yourself and interests that you have, maybe those friendships will develop along the way.
Yeah, I think that's true. And it's all about confidence too. Like you have to feel confident in yourself that you're going to be a good friend and you have something to offer, and be confident in approaching them, because I know it can be like very scary to approach someone new, thinking you feel stupid or whatever it is. Talking to new people isn't easy. And I do want to acknowledge that. Like it's not easy to just go up to a stranger and start talking and having a conversation.
I feel seen.
I think confidence is big. And like you said, having that common interest is such a good icebreaker because you have something that at least you can start on. That's solid.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? If someone doesn't want to be your friend,
their loss.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's that on that.
That's that on that. Oh, that's perfect. I love when you have a catchphrase. Well, and like every girl needs a best friend or a few best friends. Every girl needs a best pair of jeans.
Nice segue.
Thank you. So we are going to do a real review segment on Madewell jeans.
Yay. We haven't done a proper real review in a few weeks.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
I'm excited though.
Totally. So if you're not familiar, our real review is me and Tori reviewing products in the world, giving you our thoughts, opinions, and commentary on what we think of it.
They're not sponsored, so you can take that with you and know that we're not getting paid and it's our honest feelings.
Yes.
And thoughts.
Yes.
So I love Madewell jeans. I'm just going to throw it out there.
You do.
However, I do have thoughts.
Okay. Okay, go for it.
So I think, and we were talking about this a little bit and why we wanted to do a real review on it, is there are a few different styles, but I find that the Madewell jeans perfect vintage that don't have the stretch are my favorite jeans, or the boyfriend jeans. However, I'm looking at mine. I'm wearing a skinny flare Madewell right now. Are you wearing Madewell jeans?
Yes.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing the perfect vintage jean.
You are?
Yeah.
Does it have a stretch?
No, not really.
Okay. So I have a pair of boyfriend jeans I absolutely love. They're high-waisted boyfriend jeans. They don't stretch.
From Madewell?
From Madewell. They're my favorite. I also have a pair of perfect vintage that have a little bit of stretch. My favorite. This skinny flare one, for some reason, it's like, it could have been also, I had gained a lot of weight between COVID and out of COVID. I don't know what we're calling that.
Between COVID and out of COVID.
And so these jeans, I think I bought them during that time. They're a little bit big on me, but they're the same size. So their sizing's a little inconsistent.
Yeah, I do like them, but I can't decide, number one, what my size is. I've tried on a lot of different sizes. I've tried on their curve line as well.
I love their curvy jeans.
Okay, I
Can't buy them not curvy.
Well, I've tried them on, but I can't find my size. Like my normal size is not correct. I have to go smaller.
Me too.
Because of the curve. But I haven't figured out what that is yet. So I think I need to just like spend an hour or two in Madewell and see what my size is because I haven't found it yet.
We can go shopping together.
Yeah.
There's a Madewell right on the corner. And then we can do an episode called Glad We Went Shopping with Tori and Chanel.
Okay, yeah. I have two pairs.
Okay.
So one is the perfect vintage that I'm wearing now. And I don't know what the other one is, to be honest.
I think you have a boyfriend.
No, it's like a straight.
Okay. They have the skinny jean. They have, it's not like a cigarette, it's a straight jean. Mm-hmm. And then they have the perfect vintage, which is like a hybrid between skinny and straight.
That's what I'm wearing now.
Yep.
They're short on me.
They have mine. Sometimes I do have to buy tall sometimes.
Yeah, I have to do that a lot.
Yeah. They have mom jeans and then they have the boyfriend jeans.
I think I have the straight.
And then they have low rise, mid rise, and high rise. And then I think they have ultra high rise. I have to check.
Okay, wow.
Outstanding item.
All in all, like I do like how they fit. I will say the perfect vintage I like a little bit more. The only caveat is that they're short on me. So maybe next time I have to do tall. And for reference, I'm 5'8". So I do have to get taller jeans sometimes. And the other one I do like, but I think it's the same thing that you were saying. It stretches a little bit too much. So I feel like I have to wash them more and you're not supposed to wash them a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I don't like, that they get like very big on me. And I don't like how that, I want to feel secure.
Me too. That's why the curvy line works well for me. But I do have to, I'm never consistent. So I really have to go in. And while I do, the ones when I buy them, I love them. I have to try a lot on to find the right fit.
I think that's the issue, is that I haven't spent enough time trying them on.
I've spent like 3 hours there just trying jeans on and driving the sales assistants insane.
Well, you got to do what you got to do to find a good jean.
You do.
And I will say too, the quality of the jean is amazing. They're expensive. The price point is over $100.
But they're worth it.
But the jean itself is amazing. Like they'll last you years.
Yeah. And sometimes they do 40% off, 30% off. If you bring your old denim in, you can recycle your jeans with them, your old jeans. I'm going to tell you, don't bring in your brand new jeans with tags on it, but like damaged jeans, anything like that, you can bring it in, recycle it. And I think they give you a discount towards a new pair.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I had a gift card that I got for my birthday, and that's when I used it to buy a pair. Nice. And then I was like, ooh, I like these. I'm going to buy another pair because they are expensive.
That's the only jeans I wear.
Really?
I have a pair of Eagle D jeans. They're okay. People swear by those too.
I know this is a Madewell Real review, but I really do like Old Navy jeans.
You do?
I do. I have like 4 pairs, and they're my favorite. They're the ones that I always gravitate to wear the most.
I think Old Navy, isn't that part of J. Crew?
It's like in the same line of like Gap and Banana Republic.
Oh, it's Banana Republic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because
it's like the same parent company or something.
Yeah. So that's probably why they all have, I mean, this is getting into my textiles knowledge, but
yeah.
they might have
that's
the
fair.
same providers and they just have different fabrics.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what would your real review if you had to give it like a score card?
I think I haven't found the perfect fit, so that's not fair to them. But on the quality of jean and how they fit, I would give it like a 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I would do 8.5 maybe.
Yours 8.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 9. It depends on the fit, the style.
But you love them.
I love them, but I don't like the inconsistency.
Okay, that's fair.
I will say I love my favorite jeans. I'll give a 10.
Okay.
But I do find it inconsistent. And sometimes what's frustrating too is because I love the curvy fit. The curvy fit doesn't come in all styles, all washes, all everything. It's only specific ones. So I feel like there's limitation there.
Okay. So stay tuned for our We Went Shopping at Madewell soon.
I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, it would be. And I maybe the one in Hoboken is better because the one in the city gets very crowded and I feel overwhelmed.
Hoboken's great. And they have men's there.
They have men's in the one in the city.
Oh, they do? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everyone should have a good pair of jeans.
Yeah. I mean, you can have multiple best friends, multiple different pairs of jeans, brands, whatever, you know? Do you, girls.
And there's always room for new and more. So
totally.
New pairs of jeans, new best friends.
Go find a friend and go buy a pair of jeans.
Yeah. And let us know how it went.
Yeah. I think we're done here. Do you want to plug our stuff?
Yes. You can follow us on TikTok. We've been very active on the TikTok space.
On the TikTok
at Glad We Talked Podcast. And you can also follow us on Instagram at Glad We Talked Podcast. And don't forget to email us at gladwetalkedpodcast@gmail.com. I'm really excited about our TikTok. I'm really proud of us.
Aw, it's been fun.
And we've talked about a few things and made TikToks about them. So
go find us. And don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
We'll still write you a handwritten note if you send us a review.
I don't think that's true because we didn't do that last time.
No one rated us. So
people are rating us.
Who's rating us?
Go look at our thing. We have ratings.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the ratings.
You silly.
Oh, I'm so silly.
Okay. Anyway, that was a great episode.
I'm so glad we talked.
I'm so glad we talked. Bye.
As we go on. Are we best friends?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You said I'd like talk like a robot.
You don't talk like a robot.
So
I said you don't open your mouth.
Being there for others.
No.
Okay. Absolutely, positively, forget it. So it just says that you should definitely have friends.
Finish reading it. You can do it. I believe in you.
Okay.
Little nerd.
I love it. Oh, that was Rhodey. He's a little jealous right now. Do the damn thing.
We have 4 hours to record, so
4
the world is our oyster.
Later. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?